Hi, it's Sandy Parker, and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. So this is the first in my series of, yes, it's a 2017, I'm going to turn into Jennifer McGuire year. Maybe not, maybe it's just this fantasy thing I have going on, but we don't know. But the first thing I'm going to do is remake one of her many videos on monochromatic stamping, and to do that I'm going to use my Misti and a stamp set called Bamboo Roses that is from Altenew that I just got for Christmas in my birthday and Christmas haul. I lined up a bunch of the roses on the Misti, and I'll just shut the door so that we can get it all lined up and make sure they're all attached, which they are. I only put a couple magnets in there. I normally put a lot more than that, but Jennifer only ever puts one. So I'm shooting for just what Jennifer does. Anyway, I set my piece of paper that is a 4-inch wide by 5 1/4 inch tall. I'm doing a bunch of different colors, and I'm setting them in at the 1-inch mark, and I'm going to make sure they stay at the 1-inch mark, even if I have to go insane trying to keep them there. The thing that happens with me is my magnets don't hold everything in place, and I have the paper shift a little. So I'm not going to have that happen today. That's another goal. Not going to have it happen today. I'm going to be using the Hero Arts Unicorn White ink as my first ink. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp, and you might not be able to see the inking part because I have it zoomed in close enough that you'll be able to see the end result and not so much this part where I'm stamping. And I'm going to make sure that all my little pieces have good stamping on them, and then we're going to close her up. Now I have, as I said, a bunch of different papers in a bunch of different colors, and I wanted to make sure that I picked vibrant colors because Jennifer would, and I want to make sure that my inks coordinate and look nice. So the first step in this is making sure that my white covers everything, and as you can see, this section did not get as much white on it as it should have. Now, I've had a lot of people give me good advice about how I could do a better job with the Misti since I'm not very strong, and some of them said rub a piece of cloth on it. So I'm going to take one of my baby bibs that I use on my chair. If you don't know my baby bib rule, that was tricky. If you don't know that rule, I keep one attached to the arm of my chair, and then that way if I make any kind of little mess, I can just get it off there with my little baby bib. That's my secret. I know Jennifer McGuire wouldn't do that. I still did not get that white on that one leaf. I'm going to have to do one more round on that leaf. Okay. This is a 2 or 3 step process, and the white ink I'm using is a pigment ink, and so it'll take a long time to dry, and it also does not want to play that one piece of... Now, I did clean my stamps like Jennifer suggests, and because these are new stamps, and I still am not getting the ink to adhere to that one little leaf. If it doesn't adhere this time, my goal is going to be to use a nail file and go very lightly over it to try and get it to absorb the ink. It's a little bit better. Not great, but a little bit better. Okay, so I'm going to take this one out, and I'm going to let it dry, and we're going to go on to another color. We're going to do all of our white inks first on the 1-inch mark, as I said, and I'm only going to do like 2 or 3 of these so you see, how the process works. And of course, I had a little problem with those getting stuck together because they hate me. if you have your magnets get stuck together and you can't get them apart, if you slide them up against the edge of the Misti, you usually can pop them off of each other. That's just my little tip for the day. Don't know if that's something anybody else will give you, but that's my tip for you. Let me ink this one up, and back to I forgot my cloth to help me rub it over there. One of my friends told me that I really need to get serious about using a different system because I was bruising my elbows when I did my Christmas cards, because I did so many of them. That one came out nice the first time. I think it's just a matter of using that stamp a couple of times. Let me do one more in a vivid color. We'll do a red, and then I will do the rest in the white, and then I'll come back and we'll be able to play together with the rest of them. So let me ink this one up. Woo! Come off there, buddy. Then once we get all of these stamped with this color, then we're going to go on to another fun color. Back to my cloth. I did get some weird black stuff on my Misti that I can't get off. I've used everything I can think of and it still won't come off. I've used the Novus that they recommend, and I didn't want to use anything that would be too harsh on it, but it's very frustrating because I have these two little black marks that won't go away. Put that on there. One more round. Okay, so that is our first set, and then we'll let these dry, and then we'll go on to our next colors. But some of the things I found out along the way is if you do something with a color that's very dark, like this very dark purple, everything that you stamp comes out looking black around it. So I did not like the dark color. I don't recommend these super dark colors. And the same with the super dark red. It didn't look that great either, so I played with it a little bit, made it worse, so I'm probably going to throw that one out. I did get one that came out semi-okay. So if you are going to be doing this technique, I would recommend going with, you can go with mid-tones, but I would not go to the darker tones. In this case, what I did was, if you'll recall, I put it at the 1-inch mark when I stamped them the first time. These are not stamps that have multiple layers, you know, the multi-stamps that have like parts and pieces that you have to adjust. So all I did was, instead of putting it for my second stamp at the 1-inch, I moved it down about a 1/16 of an inch, between a 1/16 of an inch or an 1/8 of an inch, which a 1/16 of an inch is that one teeny tiny line, an 1/8 of an inch is two tiny lines. So right now I have it in between both of them, so I'll just stick my magnets on it and make sure it's up against the wall. That's crucial. I chose for my next color to use grape jelly. The colors that I'm using vary depending on my cardstock as far as what I like and what I don't like. Sometimes I've had to re-ink with darker inks or lighter inks or silver inks just because it just didn't look right with my cardstock. So, you know, obviously color-wise, if your cardstock's a different color, you're going to change it. But if we're talking about the actual, do you like it or do you not, you might have to do it a couple times with different colors to really be sure that's the one that works best for you. So like I said, I've thrown out a few. So let's hope that this one works well. And I did get some input about rubbing on the Misti and advice that people had, and what some of the people said was, if you use a cloth when you're rubbing, you know, trying to get your images on the Misti, that if you use a cloth, it's easier on your hands. Or if you, some people said use a brayer. I haven't used my brayer yet because I've had good luck using the cloth, but before, when I was stamping it, when I was doing this, I ended up getting big bruises on my elbows, so I don't recommend that. You see, that does look nice with that grape jelly, but as in all things, for me, I think 2 layers looks better than 1. If you know, that's my sentiment rule on the Misti, so I'm going to go the same way with the stamping of this second layer, making sure that my image is as bold as I can get it to be, with just making sure that it covers everything and does a nice job with it. I think I've done it with all of them. I've covered it with 2 layers. So that's what it looks like after the second layer using grape jelly on this purple color. I've changed up my sentiments and did a lot of, I think, 4 different sentiments. And I also did different embossing powders. I'll show you that at the end as well. So that's where we stand at this point. I'll do a couple more and then we'll start putting them together. So I have my card front done, and I put a piece of fun foam on the back of it, and I just need to take the backing off real quick. So I have a 5.5 inch tall by 4 1/4 inch wide card front, and we're just going to center our card on it, lay it down, and then I just need to stamp the back. Oh, I got a little junk on. What else is new? I made this for you. And then I'll do my envelope with this washi tape that I just got at the Dollar Tree. So I know they have it in case you're looking for some. So here's our card. It's all finished. And I made a bunch of them because you know Jennifer McGuire never just makes one. So there's the one that we just did, and it's finished. Here is the same card, but here for you. So it's a little bit different. I made a bunch because, you know, I'm in my new quest to be Jennifer McGuire. You can't just make one. You've got to make a bunch. This one I use wet glue on, and it needs to have something heavy put on it because I don't recommend that. I really recommend using tear tape, but I knew I was making a bunch of these, so that's my recommendation. If I didn't give it already, I'm not sure if I did. Make sure you use tear tape or a dry glue. But that's Proud of Your Strength. Then this one is So Sorry to Hear of Your Loss, and I don't know if you could see the matching washi that I've been putting on these as I go. I really liked this color, how it came out, Proud of Your Strength, with the matching washi. And this is my favorite color, Feel Better Soon, and the matching washi. Another Feel Better Soon, So Sorry to Hear of Your Loss. It's got some purple washi on it. And Proud of Your Strength with matching washi. So those are the cards I made. I hope you enjoyed my first attempt at turning into Jennifer McGuire in my own way. And this was her monochromatic cards, and I will link her video to this one so that you can see the real McCoy. I really thought it was fun to try to do something that Jennifer has done, and I love her cards and want to make more like them, and so I will be doing more in a series we'll call I Want to Be Like Jennifer. I think that's what I'm going to call it. I Want to Be Jennifer. Maybe I Want to Be Like Jennifer. I don't know. We're going to call it something. Please subscribe and tell one friend about me on social media. I'd really appreciate it. And thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.